everyone, Natasha here, and around my home today I am in my office and I'm looking out on another gray day, but we did have a really pretty sunrise this morning, and it's time to set up my planner for Monday and do a little bit of daily planning. So I want to share that with you, along with a little bit of an update and change to how I'm doing my prioritizing and my daily planning. So stay tuned for that, and welcome to my office. Welcome back to my channel. I have been enjoying my Discbound planning system for getting close to a year now, probably 8 or 9 months at least. And I have the majority of my cover, inserts, dividers, all of that from Jane's Agenda. So I will link that down below. I am an affiliate with Jane's Agenda. I've been thoroughly enjoying the monthly deluxe subscription box. So if you want to see some unboxing videos and see what that's all about, it'll all be linked down below. Plus, I have a coupon code that if you're a brand new customer placing your very first order, you can get a little bit off of your first order with Jane's Agenda using my special link and code below. So if you've been following along, you know I like to use quite a few elements in my planning to go throughout my week. So let me set this aside. First, we'll look at the monthly plan that I typically lay out. So this is my month of March monthly spread, and this is what I'll use as an overall big picture look at how the month is going to theoretically go. So I'll plug in any appointments, my work schedule. I try to use this left-hand column for my zone cleaning, and I also add in the videos that I'm hoping to get up each week. Then I will take things down the next level to the weekly plan. So my weekly plan for the month of March has looked similar to this. I have been enjoying using these cleaning tracker tip-ins, which came in the March subscription box. So I'm using that. I'm kind of changing out how I cross things off in my little habit trackers. I'm just using my Zig clean color dot marker, and obviously the bigger dots are the ones I've completed, and then the small bullets are the ones that I haven't completed, which is fine. Then the marker here flips to this weekly spread. So again, this is a little bit more granular, just showing my schedule for the week. I do add the weather in here. And then if there's any specific tasks that I know need to get done on a certain day and I don't want to forget, sometimes I'll plug those in as well. And then of course I have my current projects I'm working on and my habit trackers for an AM and PM routine. Then the next level down would be my daily planning. So here you can see a full weekday typically looks something like this, where I jot down my schedule. I have my affirmation at the top, and this comes from the Louise Hay Colors and Numbers book. So I have a video where I explain that linked down below. And then I just go through and prioritize and break down my tasks. And typically this is a pretty long list for me. I have a hard time making it a short list because I always seem to be thinking of things I want to do. And if it's something that's a bigger project, I prefer to break out the small tasks that are required for that project because it helps me keep moving forward and taking action instead of getting overwhelmed by the project itself. So you can kind of see here, there's a couple of things that I've updated and changed a little bit in this system. Now these executive daily plan pages from Jane's Agenda come with a 3-column setup, and the U and the I go along with the Eisenhower matrix, so you can rate the urgency and the impact of your tasks. And then she also has a little key down here for how to label the tasks. And of course, you could do that however you wanted. The thing that I have struggled with for quite a while is choosing just 3 top priorities. And I never really quite knew why this was such a struggle for me, other than I would look at my list and feel like, well, everything really does kind of need to get done. Of course, things like this that are time sensitive and due that day feel more urgent to me, but at the same time, there's other things that I could look at and feel like they were almost just as urgent. Now, having said that, I recently have sort of been taking a deeper dive into looking into some of the traits and characteristics of adult women with ADHD. And I'll link a series of videos below by Dr. Tracy Marks. She's a psychiatrist, and she has a nice little short playlist that explains some of what happens in the brain for people with ADHD and some of the ways you can work around it. I am not diagnosed. I'm just self-diagnosing based on the fact that anytime I watch some of these types of videos, I raise my hand on almost 90% of some of the traits and characteristics that they talk about. So that is one of them, is having a hard time prioritizing because everything feels important and urgent. So having said that, recently I watched a video talking about the Franklin-Covey method, and I'll link this video below as well. I've heard about the Franklin-Covey method since I was probably in high school, and I kind of vaguely knew a little bit about it. I know that it's somewhat based on Benjamin Franklin, and then there's other aspects of it that I'm not really familiar with, but her video really explained kind of a hybrid method between the getting things done system, which I've also read that book, like that system, but found some things on it that didn't quite work for me, and the Franklin-Covey method. So what I've been updating with my daily plans now is separating my tasks into 3 categories. So my A tasks are things that I must do that day. They're considered urgent and have a high impact. They're basically a deadline item that is due that day. My C tasks are the easy ones for me to pull out as well, because they're things that would be nice to get done, but it really doesn't matter in the big scheme of things either way. So they're just things that I could do. And then my B tasks are kind of everything in the middle that feel somewhat urgent, but at the same time, they're not due today. So having that little tweak to how I'm thinking about things versus the quadrant system with the Eisenhower matrix, that always seemed a little more obscure to me and harder for me to pinpoint where to put my tasks if I was trying to set that up and put tasks in a different quadrant. If I can just say, what are the things I must do, what are the things I should do, and what are the things I could do, it seems to help me differentiate a little easier. The other thing is, when I was listening to that video series from Dr. Tracy Marks, it helped me understand a little bit more why some of the things that really are not important or urgent feel important and urgent to me, because I know I could get those done a little bit easier, and it's a way for me to procrastinate on the things that I really should be doing. So just kind of identifying that and helping me recognize when my brain is leaning into those things that feel easier to do, even though they're not really important, has helped me differentiate a little better too. And I'm struggling to put this all into words, but hopefully this is making sense. So this is the change that I've been doing, is adding, first I'll just go through and decide if this is an A, a B, or a C item. Is it a must do, a should do, or a could do? Then I'll rank those tasks. So all of my A items get ranked by importance, of course, number 1, and then down from there. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit how I'm adjusting my system going forward and how I've been using things this past week, which has really helped in setting up my plans and also accomplishing more tasks. Not that the goal is to accomplish them, but I felt like I struggled a lot with doing busy work but not getting the important things done. So I feel like this week I've been a little better about knowing that that busy work isn't important and doesn't really have to get done, and what really needs to get done is the important stuff, and I'm making sure that's getting done more often. So that's an improvement in my book. All right, so this is my new weekly plan for this coming week, and we're going to be working on setting up my Monday page for the day. I like to take it out of the planner just to make it a little easier to write on. So let me set this aside. Now, in order for me to keep up with my planning, I've settled on a couple of things. I need it to look somewhat pretty and be enjoyable to look at, but also be functional and be easy to use. So if I lean too heavily into decorating, then I'll end up not planning at all because it takes too much to set up a page. And at the same time, if I don't decorate at all or don't have it looking at least a little pretty, then I don't feel excited to get my planner out, and then I just won't do it. So I'm going to set this up with just a couple of things. I have been using my mild liners and my Zig clean color dot markers for the most part. And this is the pen pouch from Jane's Agenda that I just carry around with me everywhere. So the first thing I'll do is just highlight the bar for my task heading, and then I've been highlighting here so that I can label this priorities. And just to kind of keep it balanced, I like to highlight on the other side for my schedule for the day. Then I'll take my dot marker in and just add my dots for my early morning routine, my evening routine, my priorities, and then I'll just go through and add them for the rest of the tasks. Then I'll add my headings at the top, and it's just the other bullet tip side of the same Zig Clean Color dot marker. Then the last thing I'll do is to write my affirmation at the top. Again, this is from the Louise Hay Colors and Numbers book. So for this, I'm going to reference back to my monthly spread. And the Monday the 13th is a 22-4 day for me. So I just grabbed my Zig Clean Color dot marker, and this is the color salmon. So I'm just going to use that bullet tip again to write my affirmation. So that is the basic setup to get my page ready to do some planning. So it didn't take long. It still looks colorful and has a little bit of uniqueness to it, but it wasn't much for me to go in and get that done. So now I'm going to start with my schedule and adding what I have to work this week. And I know already that this actually got changed. So first we're going to add that, and actually that's going to have to go all the way up here, and I do like to block out that amount of time. Then the other thing I will add is a couple of the tasks that are sort of time sensitive here. So now I've added my basic schedule for work. I have my daughter's dance class in the evening, and then I have a volunteer meeting later on after that. I've added a couple of my time-sensitive and important tasks that I know I can only get those done in that small window of time. So the next thing would be to add my list of tasks. And like I showed you before, what I would do at the end of Sunday is go through and list out the things that I know need to happen, and then rate them that A, B, C rating, and then number them down from there. And that way I know basically my top 3 A tasks are my 3 priority tasks, but it helps me to think about them as my must-dos, should-dos, and could-dos, and that way I can more easily see what are those 3 priority tasks. So now we're going to put this back into my planner. And then once Sunday evening comes, I will go in to update my planner and move my daily page finder to this section so that when I flip it open, it comes right to Monday, March 13th. So I hope that gave you maybe some new things to think about, or a reminder of things you knew about how to plan and prioritize. And it's always fun for me to hear what works for you. So be sure to drop me a comment and tell me how you like to plan and prioritize. Thanks so much for joining. Again, I'll have everything linked in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoy these kinds of videos. I'll be back on Tuesday with my Tiny Tidy Tuesday video, and then Friday, I'll have another video in our 52 weeks to a beautifully organized home challenge that we're doing. So you can check those out as well. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.